stressed and what not to eat. This week we're going to talk about anti-inflammatory foods. What are they? Anti-inflammatory foods, they are foods that you can eat that will cut down on the inflammation. If you have an inflammatory disease like arthritis, this can help, the things that you eat can help with your flare-ups. It can help with reducing your pain. This is not to substitute any of the medicines or the treatments that you are on, but this will help with some of the inflammation or some of the flare-ups that you would have. So all you'd have to do is just change your diet just a little, just to get some of the properties of the foods that you can eat. So let's start with fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are full of antioxidants. They're full of vitamins that will keep you from being your insides from being inflamed. Go with color. Dark green leafy vegetables like kale, spinach, mustard, turnip greens. They have vitamin K, which has shown research to cut your inflammation down. So you can do anything with that. You can saute some spinach with some garlic, and you'll find out in a little while how good garlic is for you. You can saute some spinach with some garlic, and wonderful, very good side dish. Another one is berries and fruits. Go again with the color. The darker colors, the better. And if you saw last week, you know that blueberries was good for the stress. Well, they are good for inflammation also. So again, they're full of antioxidants. They're full of good properties that will cause the inflammation to kind of go down out of your body. Blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, dark colors. Think dark purples, dark blues. That's some of the stuff that's really good to eat. Again, with the blueberries, do with some low-fat Greek yogurt. Add a little honey, and you've got a really nice little breakfast snack. Whole grains is another. Again, you'll find out that highly processed grains and carbs, they're just not good for you. I'm sorry, they're delicious, but they're not good for you. They will cause inflammation to flare up. It will cause your body to react to those carbs, cause you some inflammation in your body, cause a little bit of pain on you. So anything like oatmeal, brown rice, whole grain breads are good for inflammation, good with the fiber. Fiber is another one of those things that's really good for you. The more fiber you can get, it kind of helps flush out the toxins that's in your body that will cause the inflammation. So another thing is beans, and again, black beans was good for the fiber, to help with the fullness and keep you from eating for stress. Beans has loads of antioxidants and other inflammatory substance that will help with it. So opt with dry beans or do canned beans, but make sure you stay with the low sodium. That way you're not getting the salt, which causes the bloat, that causes the inflammation. Now, you can see like a connection on this stuff. So nuts, olive oil, avocados, all have healthy omega-3 fats in it. That is omega-3s, good for your veins, your I'm going to blank with what they
circulatory.
Yes, thank you. But they're full of omega-3 fatty acids, which is very good to your arteries and stuff. So go with fresh avocado. You can mix it up with a little purple onion, little lime juice. Very easy guacamole. So that would be, and you can top that with some tuna, you'd be set. And so make sure that you kind of watch your nuts, watch how many, because you eat too many, and your calories and your fats will add up. Even though it's a good fat, there's still calories and there's still some fat to those nuts. So kind of watch the nut intake. You can't sit all day and pop them, even though I like to do that sometimes. If I get a hold of some pistachios or something I like, they're hard to stop. And fish, omega-3s, again, omega-3s. Try the fattier fish, salmon, tuna, sardines, trout. Those are very high in omega-3s. and that again is a really good anti-inflammatory food. So bust that inflammation in your body. Herbs and spices. You can't go wrong with any of the herbs and spices. They add lots of flavor, no sodium. You can, turmeric in curry powder is one of the best ones you can eat. Very high antioxidant levels in it. Lots and lots of good anti-inflammatory properties to that. You can do a little bit of turmeric on some scrambled eggs in the morning. You can do turmeric, you could do a curried salad with tuna. So, and if you do like curry, just curry is delicious. So that is some of the things that you can eat to decrease your inflammation in your body. Now that we've talked about that, let's talk about what you shouldn't eat. And everybody already knows without me telling them, I'm sure. Highly processed foods, like cakes, cookies, sweets, greasy food, French fries, fried chicken. Just because you put it in vegetable oil to fry it doesn't mean that's healthy. They have, some of the vegetable oils has a level of omega-3s and omega-6s that's uneven. Our body needs omega-3s and omega-6s to help our function of our brain and stuff, but when the imbalance goes and you get to more omega-6s, which is the bad, which is not really bad but worse, it will cause inflammation. So to get that healthy balance, you need to stay away from the highly processed foods. If you're gluten-free, that's another inflammation in your body. That's how your body reacts to gluten and flours and wheats. So that even though your whole wheat and whole grain foods are good, if you are gluten-free, then you need to, of course, stay or limit your amount of that. Dairy foods. Dairy foods are high in fat, high in calories, and can cause inflammation. You eat your ice creams and stuff. Well, it's kind of like a snowball kind of thing. You eat your dairies, you eat a lot of it, you gain some weight. You gain weight, it causes high blood pressure, diabetes, it causes heart disease, which in return can cause inflammation in your body. So it's kind of like just a snowball effect. So as good as we do like that fried chicken and the French fries and stuff, limit your intake of those. I don't know how we could do without them altogether because they are delicious, but limit it and cook it in coconut oil or something like that instead of your vegetable oils. Coconut oil is good stuff. So with all of that, there's, I mean, you with your arthritis and stuff, just changing a few things in your diet can really help with the inflammation. Our bodies naturally has inflammation. It produces inflammation. The inflammation helps with diseases and toxins and getting it out of your system. But then when you do produce too much of the inflammation, that's when the pain and the misery gets into it. So with that being said, we're going to do a recipe today. It's basil garlic chicken. I've already done a few of the steps just because of time wise. So we're going to start with, we got a little zoodler here. You get those at anywhere it says buy now, buy is on TV, and it makes little noodles out of zucchini. So first thing we're going to do, I have got 2 chicken breasts here. I have already took a flat bottom heavy pan and I've already pounded them. You pound them flat, that gets them to cooking quicker and more even. So it's a time thing, but I went ahead and done that because of being in time. So we're going to add a tablespoon of olive oil and we're going to get that started getting hot. once you pound these, these were like the single loaf breast. I filleted them out, I butterflied them, and then I pounded them down with, like I said, a heavy pan. So it makes them just flat. Easy to, but look how big. You get about 2 servings out of that. Maybe even 3. So we're gonna put this in there. Pounding out the chicken like this, it does several different things. You can take your frustrations out on the chicken. So get you a heavy pan and just pound the heck out of it.
I would naturally want to add more oil.
And you will a little later.
Okay.
It's going to have a little more oil into it.
Being the North Carolina Southerner that I am.
I know.
If it's not oil, it's butter.
and I have had arguments with my boyfriend about butter and margarine. And I am a butter girl. I eat the real butter. I do not do the margarines because I read one time that, whether it's true or not, margarine is like 1 molecule away from plastic. Well, I just wonder what that's doing into my insides. So I would rather have the natural butter with its fat content and stuff more than I would the plastic and the chemicals. So, but we argue about it all the time because he sees only the fat and the butter, where I see the plastic and the margarine. So we fuss about that. So we're going to get that sizzling up a little bit. Once it browns on both sides and gets a little done, we'll take it out of the pan and we'll add our onions. And this is 1 onion chopped, about 2 cloves of garlic minced. We're going to put that in with some more olive oil.
Being smacked like that, they shouldn't take long to cook.
And that's another reason you do it, is it pounds it out and it makes it more even of a cooking surface. Now, like I said, it has plenty of benefits from it. Pounded good with, like, I can't believe gas is $3 a pound now.
Yes.
So while this is doing its thing, I'm going to show you. I've already done some of the noodles, or the zoodles. And if this is just a zucchini, I kept the skin on it because that's where the color is. That's where you're going to get a lot of your antioxidants and stuff at, is in the color, dark green. So this is what it looks like. It looks just like spaghetti noodles when you're done. But you can pick these little things up or something, close to it. And I'll show you what this is. It's called a veggetti, as seen on TV. So I'm sure Walmart, Dollar General, any of them would have it. And you can use it with just about any little, like a squash, zucchini, cucumber, anything that you want to make a noodle out of. And so you just stick it in and turn it. Very easy. No work at it. Just and that's all you gotta do with it. And it just makes long, stringy noodles out of it. It gives you the noodle feel of it without all the carbs and the processes of the real spaghetti noodles. So we are trying to stay away from the processed. So, all right, that is browning up. And I don't know if you guys know this, but your meat will let you know when it's ready to flip. This is sticking right now, so it's not ready to flip yet. Once it starts browning, you'll be able to it'll let go easier, so it'll be ready to flip over. So that's a little tidbit. So this recipe has garlic and onion, as I said. It's got a can of petite diced tomatoes, and you can opt for the sodium free, but this has got basil, garlic, and oregano. So I thought, okay, it's got more of these good spices and herbs in it, so let's just go ahead and get that. And then as I was sitting there looking at, standing there looking at stuff, I saw the little can of tomato sauce. I thought, let's add a little can of tomato sauce to it because I think that would make it thicker. So you don't have to, but this is just me being me. So, and it's got fresh basil and it's got the zoodles. So it's a very, very easy recipe. Once these are cooked through, we're going to add another tablespoon of olive oil to the pan, and we're going to add the onions and the garlic to it and saute it until it gets soft. Another good option that for the spaghetti is a spaghetti squash. I did a recipe the other night that was a spaghetti squash pad thai. So it had the scrambled egg and mushrooms and water chestnuts, cabbage, onions. It had all of the stuff that the pad thai has in it instead of the noodles, and I used the spaghetti squash instead. It makes a huge wok full of it, but we have plenty of leftovers for 2 or 3 days. That's a real good recipe. If somebody would like to have that one, I can be glad to give it to you. I had never tried it as a Chinese recipe. I'd always did it with spaghetti sauce and stuff like that, and I'll never go back to a spaghetti squash and spaghetti sauce. It's so good as a Chinese dish. I hope if anybody watched last week that they had tried the black bean soup. It was really good. I took some home with me and let my boyfriend try, and he's like, wow. He said, that was pretty good. He said, I just didn't think I would like it. But I tell him all the time he doesn't know what he's talking about.
How long does it usually take the squashes to cook?
Like a spaghetti squash? Mm-hmm. I slice it in two and put olive oil and salt and pepper and put it in the oven for 45 minutes. And then let it cool off, and you just take a fork and run through it, and it just becomes spaghetti, like little spaghetti noodles. You can, if anybody's on Pinterest, they have lots of spaghetti squash recipes. They have some really, like, spaghetti squash au gratin, where you just got it with the cheese and stuff, and some of it's not very healthy, but they do sound really good though. We just want these to get just about done, because we're going to stick them back into the juice and the sauce, and they're going to keep cooking once they get. So we're just going to want to get it browned and get it out of there. All right, we're going to go ahead and pull them, and I'm just going to reserve these on the plate. I'm gonna add another, and see we got all these little bits and pieces down in here. Once we put the sauce in here, all of that'll come up and it'll just mix in and it'll just be like so good. This is one small onion. I've already chopped it up. Let's put that in there. Like I said, a couple of minced garlic. And garlic, I was going to tell you, garlic actually has a component in it that will keep your body from producing inflammation. So not only is it very fragrant, makes everything taste good, it is really, really good for you. It's got a lot of also antibacterial properties to it too. So, but it inhibits your body from making inflammation. So I thought that was I had never heard that before, but I thought that was a good little tidbit. If you wanted to with this, you could add mushrooms to it, canned mushrooms to it. You could add more vegetables to it. You could make it like a ragu. You could add some carrots. You could add some more like chopped zucchini in it. You could do a whole lot with this and make it your own. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and add my can of tomatoes. And see how it just got all that brown up off of that. And I'm going to add this can, just because I thought, why not? And while that simmers a little bit, this is fresh basil. If you've never used it, it's really, really good. Great flavor, great flavor. But we're going to julienne it. We're just going to make long strips out of it. So to do that, roll it up like a little cigar and just cut. And make sure you got a knife that'll cut it. It's been washed and cleaned. I tried to do a lot of it before I got here. And see how it just makes little long strings. So we're going to put that right into that. Basil, kind of to let it, you kind of do it at the end. You don't want it to cook the flavor out of it. So you just kind of do that at the very end of it. And we're going to just let that cook just for a little while. And it smells really good. I'm going to add the chicken back to it. These are fairly good sized chicken breasts. You're going to get a lot of, and see all this chicken in here? This little chicken juice. I'm going to right back in it. We're just going to let that simmer together. I like kind of letting it, kind of just putting a little of the sauce on top of it, just because let's get all the flavor on top of it.
It smells good.
And this is an easy recipe that you can cut it down to one person or two people. And there's not really, once you have a recipe, it's just kind of a guideline. So you have the ingredients. You can fix it to where it's good for you. If you just want one piece of chicken and one, you can do it that way. It's so easy just to cut it down. I'm going to go ahead and add the zoodles to it. And like I said, all this is just your zucchini noodles. It's gonna go straight in there. Stir it around in your sauce. And you don't, these are just going to lightly cook, so they're going to still be a little crispy, or not really crispy, but a little crunchy. So you're going to get that feel in your mouth, which, you know, that's a lot of a texture thing. And we're just going to let it hang out for a few minutes. I think it would be good if you know, to try squash with it, or anything that you want to do zoodles with, some noodles with it. My heat keeps going down on this thing for some reason. Makes it look really cute too. It makes it look like a pencil. And it smells like an Italian restaurant in here right now. It's going to cook for a few minutes, and it'll kind of thicken up and reduce a little. And once it does that, it is ready to put on your plate and eat. This would be really good if you wanted to do one of the fish. It would probably be good with a tuna steak or a cod, or any whitefish would be good in this too. Shrimp would be good in it. Thing's not wanting to cooperate today. It's wanting to keep cutting off. It'll never get done at 180 degrees. And this is your zucchini, your tomato garlic basil chicken. Okay, we're going to plate it up in a minute, but I hope everybody enjoyed this one. I think I'll be back in April. If somebody has anything that they would like for me to touch on, please let us know. We'll be glad to. We'll be glad to. We'll do anything but dance on the table. We won't do that. But I hope you've enjoyed the class today. We'll put the recipe up again if you want it. But we're going to let this hang out for just a little bit longer. Make sure that chicken's done 165 degrees. And then we're going to try it. We'll post on Facebook if it was good or not. We'll do 2 thumbs up. Okay, guys, we'll see you later.